You are knowing what you are wanting. It's nice to be in a focused moment, isn't it? Where your intention is stronger, where you've made plans and followed through with them and are focused with others with intention. There's power in that. There's power in your deciding. There's power in you knowing what you're wanting. But you can't come to that knowledge quickly. It takes some exposure to life to come to decisions about what you want. And what you want matters. It is of primary importance. It's why you're here. It's why you decided to come into this physical body and to focus here into this time and space, in these beautiful bodies, in this important time where there is so much balance. And by that we mean variety. And by that we mean contrast. Because out of the variety, out of the contrast, even the part of the contrast that you don't want to be there, there is the potential, the likelihood, the strong likelihood of you coming to your personal conclusions about what you prefer. And sometimes you don't seem to know how important it is that you get to decide what you want. Because you live in a society that seems, although it is not an entity that thinks with one mind, but you often believe that you are supposed to think like everyone else in order for there to be harmony. And you often also think that others should think like you in order for there to be harmony. Because it feels like sometimes to you that when there is sameness, there is harmony. And we want you to understand that there can be difference and diversity and still be harmony. We want you to understand that the powerful law of attraction, the law that manages everything universally, the law that brings those vibrations that are same together. Law of attraction is providing the harmony, and the diversity provides the basis for it. So, wouldn't you rather live some life and come to some of your own personal decisions about things, rather than just taking those around you's words for it? Didn't you find yourself early on knowing that you were misunderstood? Didn't those around you often mistake your intentions? And so we want you to understand that while those around you, who are often those humans, dear hearts that they are often wanting you to agree with them, Jerry would say to Esther, and Esther would say, wait, I really want to know what you think. And Jerry would say, I don't really think you want to know what I think. I think you want me to think what you think. I think you want me to agree. And Esther would say, oh no, it's nothing like that. But she would enjoy a 3 or 4 hour conversation where he would finally come to agree with her. Oh, he wasn't patient for that. Nothing like that ever happened. Because he understood, and we want you to understand, the value of your perspective in comparison with the perspective of others. Your goal in life is not to conform. Your goal in life is to create. And the only reason that anyone ever believes that they should or must conform is because you think that your power is in conformity. You think your power is in grouping up. You think your power is in coming together with others. And that is not the case at all. Your power is simply in your alignment to your source, to the energy that creates worlds. When you get tuned in, tapped in, turned on, when you are in alignment with who you are, clarity is your experience. And flow and ease is your experience. And so we're just saying, don't let those around you cause you to fragment your own clarity and knowing by acquiescing to agreeing with what they think just because they think it. They're not the boss of you. They want to be, but they are not. Now, we've spoken to all of your children just now. We're talking to all of you. We want you to feel the freedom of living your life and minding your own business and not trying so hard to find agreement with others, not caring so much what you're getting back from others, not being so much a reactionary person, instead being one who lives your own life and comes to your own conclusion and launches your own rockets of desires and builds your own vibrational reality. Understanding that as you ask, even though it is often silent, when you know what you don't want, you know what you do want. You've been putting forth these rockets of desire, these clear rockets of desire, since your first breath here in this physical experience. And much was already in your vortex of intentionality before you even entered this physical body as consciousness. And so you are a powerful creator, and you have resources that are lined up for you. And as you've carved out the details of what you like and what you prefer and who you are, your inner being has found harmony with those ideas, understanding your worthiness and your goodness. And we are wanting you to understand your worthiness and your goodness. And most of all, maybe, your power. We want you to feel the empowerment of alignment and release the disharmony of fractured energy. When you say, I would like more money, we would like that to be a clear statement of expectation, anticipation. We think it would be so wonderful if you didn't water that down by saying, I want more money, but I don't have enough. That's a fractured statement. That's a fractured point of view. That's weakening your desire. Your desire was clear every time you launched the rocket. And Source heard you and believed you and agrees with you and is lining up circumstances and events to accommodate you. But when you notice what is and what isn't enough money, your attention to not enough money causes you to offer a vibration that contradicts the desire of wanting more money. And you can't have it both ways. You can't be offering a vibration of a desire for more money flowing to you at the same time that you're offering a statement that it isn't flowing. Because the universe is not responding to your words. The universe is responding to your vibration. And your vibration is understood by you by the way you feel. So if you feel downtrodden, if you feel disadvantaged, if you feel taken advantage of, if you feel not enoughness about something, then it doesn't matter how many words you offer or how many people you tell or how much you smile and hype your cause. The universe isn't responding to your words. The universe is responding to how you feel. So you've got to shift how you feel. If you don't have enough money, you've got to look for prosperity where it is in your experience. The prosperity of the sun coming up and the prosperity of the way you move freely in this nation. The prosperity of being so free that you can choose bondage. The prosperity of having that comfortable bed that you sleep in and that warm blanket that you pull up over you. You have to look for evidence of the prosperity that you wish to increase. You cannot look at the absence of something and increase what you want. Instead, you increase the absence of it. Doesn't that make perfect sense? The law of attraction is the law of inclusion. There's no exclusion in law of attraction. So when you look at something and you say, no, I do not want that, what you're actually saying to the universe vibrationally is, bring to me more of this that I do not want. So yes, yes, yes. Yes, I want that. That's a really wonderful word. Yes, because yes is saying, come to me this thing I want. But when you say no, that's like saying, come to me this thing I don't want. So you want to begin to pay attention to what you're saying yes to and say it more often, and what you're saying no to and say it less often, because you get what you think about, whether you want it or not. So as we began talking to you some years ago, we wanted you to understand how it works. And so we, for a while, called this body of work The science, because it's ever-changing and evolving. Of deliberate, because focus is such a good thing. And that's the sweet spot of being here, to get to deliberately choose and decide. The science of deliberate creation. We thought it was the best title ever for what we are all about, which is thinking on purpose, feeling on purpose, attracting on purpose, creating on purpose. But you, dear hearts that you are, got all serious about it. And you said, oh, cancel. Try to suck those words back before the universe gets hold of them. And we noticed that you were too worried about what you were thinking. You began to apply this soft approach to life that we were wanting you to understand, that we were wanting you to feel knowledge about. Because if you don't understand how the laws work, then you can't notice the consistency with which the law responds to you. Once you understand how the law of attraction works, then you can notice its absolute consistency, and then you can find your place within it. Once you understand that you were source energy before you came into this physical body, and that source energy part of you is still alive and well and active and dominant, then you can understand that you in every moment have a source energy perspective and a human physical personality perspective, and that those two perspectives are playing off of one another. In other words, you are having vibrational relationships with who you really are and what you really want and what you really know and what you're thinking and speaking and knowing in this moment. So the emotions that you feel have to do with how wide that gap is between you and you. When you are in sync with who you are and you've closed that gap, you feel love, you feel exhilaration, you feel satisfaction, you feel eagerness. But when the gap is wide, when what you're thinking is very different from what the source within you is thinking about this moment in time, because that's always where your inner being is focused, right here with you about what you're focused upon, right here, right now about what you're focused upon, right here, right now about what you're focused upon, right here, right now about what you're focused upon. So your inner being is focused. Did we tell you right here, right now about what you're focused upon? Do you understand that your inner being is focused right here, right now about what you're focused upon? And your opinion about what you're focused upon matters in relationship to how you feel. If you're mad at yourself, since your inner being never is, that's what that feeling of guilt feels like, or self-blame. If you're hating someone, and they darn well deserve it too, don't they? That's what Esther says, Abraham, you just need more information. You need more information. If you're hating someone, that feeling of hate within you is the emotion that you feel when what you're thinking about right here, right now, and how your inner being is viewing it right here, right now, are vibrationally different. So once you realize how long you have lived, how many lives you have lived, how much you've come to, how expanded and evolved you are, and how important this life has been in adding to who your inner being is, the total expansion of who you are, then you come to understand quite easily with a little bit of practice that caring about how you feel means caring about this gap, caring about how you feel and doing something about it gradually. You can't do it all at once any more than you could just jump over a house. You have to gradually move it. A few years ago, Esther and her wonderful team and many of you went on a cruise to the Panama Canal. And it was so interesting because the water level as they approached the canal was 84 feet difference from the body of water that they were going to be in on the other side of it. 84 feet. Now that ship is not just going to jump 84 feet. It would be hard on the ship and everybody in it. So instead, it just moved into a channel, and then the water gradually rose. And when the water was level with the next lock, they opened the gates and the ship just sailed in. And then the water rose again. And when the water was level with the next lock, then the gate opened and the ship just sailed in.